All right, welcome back. Again, we'll start off in Virginia. There's really not much to say here. I think the Union has pretty much decided to, at least for the time being, focus on Kentucky. So and out west. So let's take a look at Kentucky. Grant now is in control um, of the army here, and so he has three divisions, and then Forney's Corps also has three divisions. We are sending some additional forces to Forney, who will fill in these divisions and provide some artillery support. We're also going to send Polk, who's already a corps commander with Jackson, to Bowling Green. So I'll have to eventually kind of redo the defenses here, but for the time being, doesn't really seem like the Union's going to make a huge effort over here. Although they could, if they decided to attack both ways, they could come out 6 divisions against Breckinridge's 1, for example. I am definitely very, very nervous about eastern Arizona. We had 2 generals killed, I think, or at least 1, and we lost some other units. So we really need to be able to replenish this time. We do have other forces on the way, but they're not going to arrive for another 2 turns. We are sending a couple other generals to support. What is it? Baylor's force is going to come up here, and then basically we'll decide if we're going to move on Utah, or I feel like pretty soon here there's going to be an Indian War. Maybe Fort Laramie becomes an objective soon. Like I said, this is actually the first time I've played Civil War II, so I don't know exactly how it all works. Finally, there's a little bit of movement down here in Arkansas. Reynolds is actually moving towards Ozark. Over here. We're going to try to destroy this railroad. Meanwhile, Shelby will just take a turn and defend. All right. I'm going to go over here and focus on eastern Arizona. Let's run the turn and see what happens. Wow, it was an absolutely stunning turn. There were a huge number of battles and a lot of bombardment. So I'm going to focus here on the battles, and we'll just kind of go through them as they occurred. The first thing that happened is looks like the fleet left here. You can see they basically boarded ships, and Bragg's corps bombarded them, landing 21 hits and suffering 20 in return. We were not able to bring the Union cavalry force to what do you call it? We were not able to bring the Union cavalry force to battle. Canby's force is actually retreating. That really surprises me, actually. We now have additional forces, and the Texas Rangers Brigade is pretty much recovered, so we're going to be able to hold this. We'll have to basically form another division. But in a surprising move, the Union decides to not attack and is making the long trek back to western Arizona. We bombarded Wallace's corps, which it looked like they were possibly moving by riverine movement, and they got hit with 40 hits, as you can see there. Farragut's bombarded us here. We took 4 hits and cost 48 to them, and then again 6 and 53. There was some action happening out in the seas as well. Major's force also bombarded Wallace's corps, 40 hits and landing 40 hits, and then there was this huge battle in Paducah. Breckinridge's division almost wiped out 3 divisions. It looks like it's probably about to. Basically, they were just coming across on boats And yeah, just those were some huge casualties. Um, then there was a second battle that happened here where there were another 4,000 casualties by the Union. So it looks like basically when I said I don't think the Union's going to do much over here, I was definitely wrong about that. Both corps came over, both Wallace's and Keyes Corps. Keyes Corps came over, and yeah, as you can see, here's actually Keyes. So Wallace is the senior commander, but Keyes shows up, and you can see there are three divisions participated in this. We lost. Grant came in just with a huge force, 100,000 force. Jackson had 50, but even that was not enough. Grant obviously did very well, and we actually took more casualties. In addition, our militia unit, not surprised, was destroyed, and we had another unit over here that was also destroyed. The Union then took a fort in Kansas. As you can see, General Blinker there. Oh, mostly infantry. Interesting. No artillery. And then the Union took Fort Clinch. So, okay, now we're being besieged. Yeah. So, just huge amount of movement. Here's Major, and here's the Army of Tennessee. So we'll be able to bring them together, and I think the question here's Breckinridge. He can be promoted. I think the question really is do we want to do a counterattack on Wallace or give up Paducah? The weather is clear, so I'm actually inclined to consider a counterattack. In addition, the Union fleet is out, so we might try to attack that as well. Over here, in where we have Forney and Stewart, Forney, we're basically back at this defensive position now. They are entrenched at, as you can see, we're taking over level 6 entrenchments. Now, it's interesting here. So Grant's actual force didn't take on huge casualties, so they're okay. Forney's corps, since they didn't have the entrenchments, as you can see, they did take on more casualties. But yeah, I think we're going to be inclined to hold that, and we'll see if Grant moves on farther down. Now that they're here, it is easier for them to get into Tennessee. We do have a couple, at least one division here that, well, no, two. So we could do a counterattack on Keyes and Wallace, and I'm possibly inclined to do that. I was really surprised that the Union did not try to at least attack one more time. They're going to lose a lot of cohesion or retreating, so we might even want to consider attacking. Let's go to Colorado. As you can see, here is our force, and I'll give them back Baylor's artillery. There's a little bit of supply here, so Baylor will be able to get some supply, but we'll have to decide if we do want to go ahead and take Fort Laramie, which is the Montana Territory capital, or move on Salt Lake. Now, Shelby's force is pretty much recovered, not completely. You can see their cohesion is 89. So another option is to kind of possibly come in and attack Leavenworth. You can see Carson is there, would be one option. Or go down here and attack a different Union unit. Reynolds did make it over here to the Ozark, as you can see, but of course Price is across 3 divisions, and I don't think they're really going to be able to cross with these two fleets here. Okay, let's take a look at the messages. So we have a few units trained. Sea mine exploded. Another sea mine exploded there. I didn't know we had any ships there. Okay, so the regional decisions. Oh, interesting. So a couple militia units popped up here in Tyler, Texas. First here is the, wow, so we captured 10,600 prisoners in that one, and then only 300 in the second one. Here's where we lost. I just want to take a look at their force again. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10, 11. 12, 13, 14. 15. So 16 divisions. There you go. So 100,000 men, 30,000 on horse, 300 plus. So we had 16 divisions against our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. All right. So, well, that's a pretty definitely, without a doubt, a pretty action-packed turn. I'll have to kind of think about what to do next turn. I'm probably going to be inclined, like I said, to attack Paducah. Looks like the Union has moved away from North Carolina, other than Sickles' force. So it might make sense to go basically they're near Jacksonville. Okay, they're down here in southern Georgia. All right. Hope you enjoyed the turn. A lot of action. Let's take a quick look at the Union morale. It did drop to 86, so they took some hits on the national morale because of that, because of the big loss in Paducah. Okay, see you.